the stream. Okay. Can you hear me now? The stream. Oh, there we go. Hello, hello. Hola. I'm sorry I had some technical difficulties. Hey, we gotta learn somehow, huh? All right, so I was like talking to myself for like a good 10 minutes about about women getting pregnant out of desperation. I'm wondering if that's what SW did. If she got pregnant out of desperation. Could it be? What if? What if she really got pregnant out of desperation? That was her like last the last thing that she could do to secure that marriage. I mean, is that far fetched? Some people think that that pregnancy was a result of an affair with CM. But what if it wasn't? What if it really was his? I mean, I'm open to all possibilities. I mean, because I don't know, I wasn't there. So I can only speculate. And so if SW got pregnant by whoever and was using this baby as a way to keep her husband, and it didn't work, would it be far fetched to say that she had that if I don't, if I can't have you, nobody else will attitude? Could she have gotten rid of the kids? And then did something to herself? I mean, because if we follow this theory that SW wasn't allowed to be with her children and that there was an active child protective services case against her, if she lost her marriage, I mean, because obviously we can see her in the house, right? So she obviously has access to the children that we can see through her countless videos. But if she had restricted, what am I trying to say here? If she had some restrictions on her where the children were concerned, and if she got a divorce, would that have taken away all of her time with the children? Because she needed these children to make her videos. She needed her husband to make these videos, because how else would she portray this wonderful life if she lost all the props? If she got divorced, I would assume that she would not be able to afford that car note. And please don't come for me, because I know that some of you are going to say, well, the car was paid for by Thrive. Well, let's say for the sake of argument that she earned that car. She had to have been spending a lot of money in order to keep that rank. So if CW wasn't around, she wouldn't be able to afford those mini lifestyle, what is it that she calls it? The little samples. She wouldn't be able to afford to even buy the products to send out those samples. And 1 month supply of that MLM that she was selling, the one with the little stickers, because that's only one that she was involved in. She was involved in a bunch of them, but we're going to talk about the little sticker one. 1 month supply of that is $150. And so in order for her to keep that car, she had to sell a ton of it. And if she didn't sell a ton of it, she had to come out of pocket. So if she lost her husband, how is she going to be able to afford to make those samples? Where would she live? Because he was the meal ticket. She's going to lose her meal ticket. So would getting pregnant convince him to stay? You ever hear of anyone saying, if I can't have you, no one else will? That's some real crazy stuff to say. It's like, you're not going to be with me. You're not going to be with anyone. Come on, people. Are you going to join me or what? I got a lot of comments on my other video with different talking points. So I'm here. Kitty, what do you want? Why are you stalking me? Hold on 1 second. Let me mute my mic for 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Oh, my chair is screeching. Okay, at least I know that my audio is fine because I could see it moving. Why? There's so little. Come on, people. Talk to me. Okay, let me see if my this is going to be a real boring live if I'm just talking to myself. Uh-oh. I wish I knew how to play a video because there is some interviews that I want to go over as well because they seem a little sus, if you ask me. And I want to talk about Nutgate too. I can't see with that. Hammy. Okay, honey, take your time. Nutgate. I was looking at the Discovery, and Nutgate, I got a different perspective on Nutgate. I don't think it was that simple that Christopher Watts' mother just had some ice cream there for her other grandchildren, and Cece had a fit. Because when I'm reading the Discovery, it says that Ronnie Watts is saying that SW and Christopher Watts' mother had an argument because of her parenting. And she started saying some things about the way that she parents. And Christopher Watts' mother said, "No, Cece, your mommy doesn't want you to have it." Now that to me makes a lot of sense because it seems to me that SW would get pissed off if the grandmother would say to the baby, "You can't have this because your mommy doesn't want you to have it." Oh, I have a funny feeling my dog is about to start barking. So, I don't know, if somebody started telling me how to parent my kid, and I didn't really get along with them, I might have a thing or four to say. Because to me, it doesn't make sense that, okay, there was an ice cream, a vanilla ice cream there. One of the kids took it and she wanted one and she couldn't have it, so she had a fit. And then she's going to flip out because she allowed the other child to have the ice cream in front of Cece. I think there was a little more in there that we're not being told. Sorry about that. Yeah, so that would, I think that would make me mad if somebody were to tell my child, no, you can't have the ice cream because your mom won't let you have it. Because a 3-year-old's not going to understand that. But at the same token, you have to teach your children if they're allergic to something that they can't have everything they want. But she was right there. So why didn't she just remove her child from the situation? Why didn't she get the baby some ice cream? Why did it have to get like that? I mean, it was like so exaggerated. And then she goes online and makes this huge post that her mother-in-law tried to kill her children. She tried to murder them. Like, really? Trying to murder them? I think that's a bit much. And so, again, it looks like she's losing control again. Things aren't going her way, so she has to pitch a fit. And I think Cece was learning that same behavior from her mother. Because when she didn't get her way, she'd have a fit. They even started to mimic her behavior towards their father. So do you guys think that she unalived herself? I don't know. I'm like, part of me thinks that she did. And a part of me is just not sure. I just don't know what to think. I definitely don't see CW doing it. And it's my opinion. I just don't see it. He's so attentive to those children. He did everything, and you can see it. It's not hearsay. You can see for yourself in those videos. He's the one giving the baths. He's the one that's feeding them. He's preparing the bags for school. He has to come home and literally switch cars and go over to the daycare center and pick them up. He's the one sitting on the floor playing with them. He's brushing hair. He's doing everything. They're just there as stage props. Like, even with I think it's Christmas cookies, they're baking Christmas cookies, but she won't allow them to do anything. It's just to show, to sell this product, that she has a really happy life and she's able to be a good mom because she takes these products and now she's more engaged, but she's not engaged. She's staring at the phone. And one of my commenters mentioned that she couldn't put the phone down for anything. It was, and I see a lot of people like that today. You go to a restaurant and watch people, they're on their phones. They're not even paying attention to one another. They're just sitting there. No one's paying attention. They're just staring at their phone. And that's what she was doing. She couldn't put that phone down for anything. was live after live after live. And she had to use those children, and she had to make those live videos in her house. Huge house. A house that looked like it was never even used. You would never believe that children even occupied that house. Because when I had children, small children, they're all old now, if I'd clean one room, they were destroying the next. So I was constantly picking up toys, cleaning something, because that's what kids do. They make a mess, they play. But these kids, they couldn't even participate in making cookies. They were just there to stand there and follow whatever it is that you wanted them to do. Oh, say hello, say hey. And then they say hello, show them your lips. And she painted their lips with red lipstick. But it was supposed to be baking cookies with the kids. But the kids were not doing anything. They're standing there. They wanted to hold the bowl. They wanted to measure. And she's visibly getting angry. Then there's this other video that she has a bouquet of flowers on the kitchen counter. And she has to make sure that she lets everyone know that they were from CW. And in my opinion, I think that there was a method to her madness. I think that she made sure she told everyone that they were from CW because she had an idea that CW was already dating NK. I mean, how could she not know? People say, like NA says she was blindsided. There's no way she was blindsided because they have a Ring doorbell. They had cameras all over the house. You're going to tell me you didn't know that that lady was in that house on more than one occasion? I mean, for goodness sake, she got a notification when he swiped his credit card and spent $62 at the Lazy Dog. So why wouldn't she know that another woman entered her home and was, from what we can tell, was all over her house? She was in the basement. She was in the children's playroom and she saw all the books. So she was roaming around that house. So if the R's and SW knew everything that was going on in that house, why didn't they know that NK was there? Give me 1 second here. Calling all Warts fans. Not Warts fans, but everybody on Warts Island who actually thinks that she was moving that day. So I don't think that. I think that she was already out of the house. I think that she was desperate. She's sending him these self-help books, threw that shit in the garbage. She's writing him these letters, telling him to write letters. Hi, Shireen. She's sending him these letters. He's not responding. She wants him to text. He's not picking up the phone. He's not texting her back. He's ignoring her. I think that she came home that night. Oh, one moment. Ham. Ham radio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh my god, this is my first time using StreamYard. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. So I was just
a lot of feedback in the background. Can you hear like a lot of stuff in the background?
No, I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. Cool. You sound clear. You sound great.
Cool. Hey, Shireen.
Oh my God. This is my first live with somebody on my panel. Woohoo!
Yeah, and this is my first time on StreamYard.
Oh, really? I tried to do it on Restream. Yeah. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. So let me go back to StreamYard and do it here.
Yeah, I don't know how to hook up Discord, but this was pretty easy, relatively.
Yeah.
I can't get my Radiohead to show, but that would probably use like too much, bandwidth or whatever.
I love that Radiohead. I'm telling you, the other night when you were on live, I think that Radiohead was like winking at me and I was dying.
It's because I have this like light that fluctuates, like it changes colors, or it changes, like it dims and changes over time. And I think it makes my eyes like disappear sometimes. It looks like I'm winking.
I thought the radio was like giving NK the side eye because, some of the stuff she was saying, I was like, oh, please.
Well, you know what? You know me. I'm White Knight and Fran K,
That's okay, though. That's okay because, I mean, none of us were there.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
Oh, it's 2 a.m. in England?
Oh my God. Well, it's Saturday night.
Insomniac.
It feels very late here. Yeah, do you objection overruled? Is it like, did you just do the time change? It's messing with me big time.
It is. I'm like up all night and then I want to sleep. I just want to sleep all day.
Exactly. I've been doing that. And it's been hard to like get up for work, and my daughter keeps going to bed so early, and I'm like, it's not time yet. But
she's like, my body says it's time.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if I like it.
I don't either. I guess we'll get used to it someday. By the time we get used to it, they'll be changing the time back again.
Oh my God, I know. That's always how it happens. What were you talking about?
I'm talking about desperation. And
goody.
I'm wondering if, I know there's a theory going around that SW was pregnant as a result of an affair with CM. But what if, could it be that she really did get pregnant by... What if she got pregnant by CW in a last-ditch effort to hold on to that marriage?
I mean, could it be? It could be.
Could it be? We need a piano.
Yeah, I need a muffled piano, but yeah, it could be. But the thing with the condoms, I don't know. But yeah, it could be. It could be.
That's another thing that gets me. You can't say that you're having fertility issues, it would be a
Mm-hmm.
miracle if you got pregnant, but you're using condoms with your husband.
Oh, well, that's, I mean,
That doesn't
it
make
was
sense.
never, it was, well, I mean, there aren't any fertility issues. There never were,
No.
you know. She had babies right off the bat.
Oh. Sorry.
Oh, was that a piano?
Yeah, it was an alarm.
I need a piano.
Oh boy.
God. I was just watching someone else's live casually while I was doing the dishes. I can't stay on here too long. I have to do these dishes. They're like a mountain. But
Oh.
I can stay on for like a little while. But yeah, this other person's live. I can't. I'm dying. I can't. I can't do it
Was there
right
something you
now.
want to share?
No, it's just amusing. It's funny.
Oh yeah, some of the theories
I
are a
don't
little
I
out
think,
there.
well, it's like I don't know who's funnier. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're all cracking me up right now, but I don't know. I agree with tiny portions of everybody, but like they're all acting ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's too much for my brain right now.
Doreen, the DNA about the DNA for the baby. Yeah, I would think that if the baby really was CW's, then why not just prove it? What's the
Yeah,
big
I agree with that.
secret?
But the thing I keep seeing is that like there's lots of big secret. There's so many things that we don't have access to,
Mm-hmm.
which is why this case is so frustrating. And I'm not sure. So I came into this case, like a year and a half ago. That's all. And I've really relentlessly studied it and tried to find everything that came before me and like the chronological order of it. And that includes like all the YouTube stuff, all the Reddit stuff.
Right.
But it's impossible to really see what we were given at first or what the investigation had at first. And I feel like they kind of omitted a lot in the beginning anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also paired with the social media. Like, what are we seeing now as opposed to everything that everyone was allowed to see back then? And I think that's why there's so many people that are clinging to this case, because they're like, there are some people that do have access that did take those screenshots way back, or they saw them way back and they're like, I saw that. I know that's real.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gone now. And everybody's saying like, where are the receipts? It's just a wild case that way. And I think that's why it's going to go on for so many years. It's just, I can't stop like looking for new information about it, because it seems like there is a steady stream, like slow.
Did you
but
come
a steady
in
stream.
Did you come in after the Netflix?
Yeah. So yeah, I literally came in during I didn't even use YouTube ever, except for like casual use. But I got like a suggestion in 2021 over the summer. They said, oh, you can try premium for a month. So I did. And that was right when the Petito case happened.
Right.
And I got like obsessed with it. I got my friends obsessed with it. We were all following. I was realizing like, wow, some of these people are nuts. And this seems wrong that YouTubers are doing this. But I was like, this is a whole new world to me of true crime.
Mm-hmm.
But then all these creators talking about the Petito case kept making parallels to the Watts case, because they were not only with like the social media aspect, but they were saying like Brian Laundrie is a narcissist just like Chris Watts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so confused when I watched a few videos about the Watts case, because I was like, what? I don't think either of these people are narcissists.
I don't
Like
see it.
from,
I really don't see
you
it.
know what I mean? I was like, I'm trying. And then I ended up watching the Netflix like months later, and it was useless. It like, but it's so funny because people are like, "Did you come in with Netflix?" And I'm like, "No, proud to say I'm not coming in with Netflix, but I came in way later."
Right.
Which is weird.
I think that Netflix documentary or whatever the frig it is, it put her in a really bad light. And that came from the parents. I didn't think that they did her any justice because it made her look worse.
Yeah. A lot of people. Well, I didn't know. I was so new to even watching true crime. It's kind of like a newer interest of mine that came on during like COVID. But I just was trying. It just didn't. It's a weird documentary too, because I remember I listened to a few different podcasts, like of people that covered regular entertainment news, and they were reviewing that documentary.
Right.
And they were like, this is the weirdest, like most depressing, like, why do we need to even hear this? Like, there's nothing redeeming about it. It's just like this guy who seems like a totally nice guy and a good dad is just a monster. And the end. There's no other nuance to it. And I thought that was interesting because it's true. It like doesn't make any sense. Like
it really doesn't.
There is more nuance to it, and I get why people watched it and were like, "What? Okay, screw that." But then a bunch of other people who really were interested pursued it because they were like, "This doesn't make sense."
It didn't make any sense to me. And as a matter of fact, it actually, to me, that Netflix thing made her look more controlling.
Yes.
I think as a parent, I would have omitted those text messages. I know they were trying to portray that she was desperately trying to save her marriage, but did the sexual text need to be put out there?
That was in the Netflix?
It was on the Netflix, yeah.
The stuff about like the vibrator or whatever?
Yes, and having to go masturbate, to relieve stress because he's not paying
That's
attention.
odd.
That's so weird.
No, Shireen, you found out because of Netflix? Yeah, I came in later than you.
I came in as soon as it happened, and when I saw that,
right,
I tried to call it the porch video because it's not on the porch; it's in front of the garage. When he said,
"Yeah, there is no porch,"
right?
Well, kind of.
I want everyone back. I'm like, what the hell does this guy know? He knows something. I don't think that he's completely innocent. I don't think that he murdered his children. I think that he was capable of killing his wife, maybe, but I don't think that he did anything to his children. But I think that when he had that interview, he knew something. Because, I don't know. It just, you could see it in his face. Like there's
he was disconnected.
Right.
I don't know. That's what I thought.
Like but a lot of people, when they have some kind of a trauma, they disconnect.
100%. 100%.
I don't know. I know.
No, that's actually exactly the thing that I have wondered about. That's actually one of the big, I think I talked about it in one of my videos, but it's like exactly, I remember watching those videos, first on YouTube, I think, Raw, after I had just heard about the case, after everyone was saying, this man's a narcissist. And I was like, okay. And my first impression was, okay, he actually seems like he's on the spectrum, which would be here nor there. But yes, he did seem like he was disconnected and possibly like completely in a state of like a fugue state. He knew what happened. He was just saying things that he knew he was supposed to say. He was doing as he was told from that time on.
Right. He's a people pleaser. And so,
Right.
first of all, he didn't want to do the interview. That interview was set up by NA. They caught him off
Right.
guard, and he did the video, and then he starts saying what people want to hear because that's the kind of person that he is. He is a people
Right.
pleaser. He just
Hey, he took the class in public speaking.
isn't that so crazy that he actually has that video about
Yeah.
the breakdown of relationships, but he took that class because she signed him up for that class.
Yes. And I think that is so interesting because I kind of think that is what influenced or taught him how to speak the way he did at the Sermon on the Porch or whatever.
Right.
Like
right.
that's what he learned. He's a good learner. When people say he has a high IQ, I think it's because he's very capable of, like,
Right. They call
doing
him
what he's
Rain Man.
told.
They call him Rain Man.
Yeah.
So
And very high functioning. So like he did have, I think he did have more of a functional, like empathetic side. And that's not the right word, but like very high functioning spectrum on the spectrum. And very smart as far as maybe not the most intelligent, like maybe not the most emotionally intelligent, but he knew what he was supposed to do in certain circumstances when prompted by others
right.
who were like, you're in this situation and here's your daughters and your wife are missing, here's how you should act. And he was like on it.
Which is what my previous video was about, setting the stage. He already knew how to act when he was supposed to act a certain way because he had 8 years of practice being on videos all the time, being prompted to say things.
Absolutely.
And I think that he was emotionally stunted, but
he was like the girls in some ways,
Yeah.
He didn't have to perform like that for anybody else in his life, just her.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Shireen. I think that he was told what to do, what to say, and that's what he did. Like there's a saying, a happy wife is a happy life. I think that he did everything that you wanted him to do, or would be hell to pay.
100%. Because he's smart. He was right.
And then, I mean, I could see him being disconnected at this point because he was already in limerence with NK. He's already infatuated, and so
he's totally lost personally.
Right. He's totally infatuated with her. She's infatuated with him. He had to actually Google what does it feel like to be in love because I don't think that he ever actually felt this way before. This was so new to him.
Yeah.
And so he had to actually look to see if what he was feeling, if anybody else felt this way. And so it's easy to disconnect from something that's not appealing to you, and then you go to something else that is.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem that crazy to me. I feel like I went through times where I was like, oh, I hadn't dated that many people. Is this how this is supposed to feel? Mm-hmm. It's sort of more a matter of how many people you've dated, how many long relationships you've been in. Because other than that, you don't really, you can come out of it at any age and be completely stunted.
Mm-hmm. And he only had one girlfriend before his wife, and that was a rebound relationship.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
And so he didn't really have any experience.
Yeah, it was a rebound relationship that the woman was having, right?
Yes, that the woman was having. She was in and out.
She was a little older.
And she was a little older, and she was using him in the meantime. They managed to stay friends, and then SW cut that off real quick too.
I mean, yeah, that's something I wanted to do is I wanted to rewatch the Sermon on the Porch at some point because I have watched it so many times and it's so strange to me because I remember Tammy Lee made a big point of saying like, whoa, we saw him talking on the news and we were like, we've got to move fast or something like that. And it was like, what do you mean you have to move fast? Like,
yeah, do you think
it was like this assumption,
right? You think that body language can tell you everything? Because I think that that's what they use. His body language said it all. To me, it didn't, because I know people that, like myself,
yeah,
if I'm pushed into a corner
absolutely.
and I have a lot of stress, I'm going to start laughing. I'm going to start shaking.
Me too. And I'm going to start moving back and forth.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that doesn't mean that because he's swaying back and forth that he did it. Look at D.A. Rourke when he's giving that press conference. He's swaying back and forth. Should we say he committed a murder?
I know.
So I don't know how people just
and it doesn't
these conclusions.
Yeah, show me anybody who doesn't start swaying back and forth when they're put on the news, like national news, about their I really want to know more about what happened with like that time that he spent with the Thayers between, when he was staying at their house after the murders. I wish I could be a fly on the wall and hear like what really went on, as because I feel like they really stuck by him and it really traumatized them when they were told, that he had done this, which was strange.
Right. And I feel so bad for them because they really believed him.
Me too.
They were the only ones that gave him a place to stay. And then they were made to feel like, oh, you let your baby sleep right across the hall from a murderer.
Right. Didn't they ask him that? Like, how'd you feel about that?
Yes.
That was fucked up. I'm sorry.
No,
screwed up.
I've heard worse.
Sorry. Oh yeah. Ronald YouTube. But no, that blew my mind when I watched that interview with them because they were so broken, and I felt really bad for him in particular because yes, I think they both had this like overwhelming faith in Chris, but I think Nick, who had like gone, jogging with him in the mountains and stuff, hey, he had strong legs too.
Right.
And like I don't think she did go mountain jogging or whatever, runner hiking, whatever it is.
SW, I don't think that girl ran.
No, I don't see that happening. He probably
ran back and forth to the post office. Maybe that's the only running she was doing.
He would have had to keep both the kids on his back on a backpack.
Did you see that? He's mowing the lawn with the baby on his back. He's cooking with the baby on his back. He's doing everything with the baby on his back, but she's the great mother. I don't see her doing
Here's the thing. Here's a theory. And I'm just saying, like, what if? I'm going to try to, like, white knight for anybody whenever I can. But what if SW was just like, I just want to show this month, in her own little vision board brain, if she was like, I just want to show this month why my husband is the most amazing husband, and it's because he's on this MLM thing, and it is just amazing. So I'm just going to buy all these cheap things on Amazon to prove that my husband can, like, watch the kids 24/7, and it's all about showing how amazing my husband is now that he's on this thing.
How supportive he is.
Right. Mm-hmm. So because I kind of get that vibe sometimes. I'm like, there's no way in hell that they were actually doing this all the is that real? Was she really making him like carry the kids around? Like, because they couldn't be away from either of them, and she had to hold the phone. I don't get it. But
Yeah, I think it was all
this is
staged. I
just
don't think
this
she was
is
really mowing the lawn with the kids. I think it was just
right.
for a
But I
photo
mean,
op.
my thing is, I think a lot of people look at these things very literally, which I think you have to look at them sort of in between, because yeah, you can't look at it literally like this woman just like, I mean, maybe she just bought all this shit on Amazon to like show the world that her husband can like carry all of his kids around while he does difficult manual labor around the house. Or I don't know, it doesn't have to be either extreme. Or that she was like a great mom and like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It has to be somewhere in between her being a great mom and him having to literally keep them on his body at all times because she was so incapable of taking care of them. I think it has to be something in between those things, which
I
would
I
make
don't think
sense.
that she was incapable of taking care of them. I think that
But there are people who
she
do
was
think that. That's all I'm
overwhelmed.
saying.
Yeah, I think that
Yes.
she was overwhelmed and
Yes.
she couldn't do it because it was just too overwhelming for her.
Yeah.
So he did it. And,
She was
why not
enabled
take
to
a
do
photo op?
that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm sorry. I was just thinking, like, I haven't really thought about this before, but it's like she was enabled to do that all the time by her parents and by him.
And by I think also by the friends as well, because they were
Yeah.
pushing, they put, I feel like these
They thought
MLMs,
it was cute.
yeah, and they want you to just, if you see a car, if you see a Lamborghini, go over there. It doesn't matter if it's yours, snap a picture, take a selfie in front of it, show everybody that you too could have this life if you sold these
Yeah.
MLMs. And
Yeah.
I think that she reminds me of Ralph Cramden. She just wanted to get rich.
Oh my
And
God.
she just
I
did
love the
all these
honeymooners.
things.
I
I
love the
do too.
honeymooners.
I do too. She was always
Oh, I
trying to
didn't
get
know that.
in.
Nobody knows the honeymooners.
I love the honeymooners. Oh my
To
goodness.
the moon.
Every New Year's, I watch the marathon, and it seems like they're cutting it shorter and shorter because you see what,
Oh.
he's always bossing her around and stuff. And so I think they're
Yeah, do you
slowly
think
but
they
surely
cut
trying
them
to keep
out?
it away. Did what?
Do you think they like edit them now when they show them on TV?
I think they're taking them away slowly but surely. Before it used to be an
I know.
entire like 24-hour marathon. Now it's just for a few hours. And people don't want
Because
to
of these
have a man
SWs.
that's yeah, she never ran.
Yep.
I don't think she ran either.
He was. She didn't run. Well, I was gonna say he's not the Alice Cramden though. He's definitely. She's a Ralph Cramden maybe, but he's not an Alice Cramden.
No, because she was tough and she fought right back. But I mean, she was involved in so many MLMs. I can't even keep track of all the MLMs that she was involved in. And
yeah,
I think that she
I
was
didn't even
involved.
know.
Yeah, I counted like 8 of them, but a lot of creators say that she was involved in like 12, even more.
Yeah,
Could you imagine how
I've
much
heard that
money
too.
she was spending?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
because I
so
realized when I joined one.
I've joined a couple just because I wanted a discounted rate on the product because I like the
Right.
product, but I didn't try to
Exactly,
sell
yeah.
it to anybody. I mean, But that
I know.
also
I would
goes.
like have parties, but
I actually had a
I was
couple
gonna
of
have a party anyway.
right. I had one of those like Leah Sophia parties. It's like a jewelry party, and I
Mm-hmm.
think I had a candlelight party light. I think it was called. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just wanted a
I did
discount.
Arbonne. Yeah.
Really? Yeah,
Hmm?
and I actually bought Thrive because I wanted to try it out, and when if you believe her that she cleaned the whole house by 11, like she got up and did everything by 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say that if she did clean, she probably did have the entire house cleaned by 11, being on Thrive, because it's like drinking
Really?
4 Starbucks coffees back to back. You're like wired, like
Oof.
Ricochet Rabbit. So if you ever need
Right.
energy, yeah, but I don't think it's like something that you should do for long periods of time. I mean, she was pregnant wearing those patches.
Yeah, she bragged about that. Yeah. Um.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's a
I
lot
wouldn't.
cheaper to just buy a bunch of Starbucks espresso
Right?
put
Just
it
get some
home.
espresso.
Yeah, honestly.
A
I
lot
mean,
cheaper.
or get like monster drinks or whatever. I don't know. I heard it's really expensive. So that's
It's $150 just for the
what?
1, 2, 3 steps. Yeah. That's not
Wait,
including balance, focus, any of those other pro bars. Just for those
so how
three
much is it for
steps.
like a month?
For 1 month, it's $150 just for the 3 steps. And the 3 steps include the 2 pills. As soon as your feet hit the ground, right before your feet hit the ground, you're supposed to pop these 2 pills, right? And then about an hour later, you're supposed to do your lifestyle mix drink, and then you slap on the DFT patch. But if you want a pro
Oh,
bar, those pro bars are like $60, I think it is, for a box.
what? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And if you look at her table, she's
Oh,
always got tons of it. She's always got like thousands of dollars of product that have been
yeah.
delivered at any given time. So
Yeah,
where's
but
that
that shit goes
$10,000
bad.
taken?
Oh my god. No, I know. I mean, I
And
knew all this already. I knew. Mm,
I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead and say what
I
you're gonna say, because I wanna
no, I mean, I knew that she
answer.
spent more money than she made. Always, obviously, a lot more. But I didn't realize it was that expensive every month. And who knows what other MLMs she was doing.
Right, she was
And
doing the
in order to not,
makeup.
and like for her to not be paying the mortgage, which was how much a month? Like
The
that's
mortgage was
a
about
lot.
$3,000 a month. She wasn't paying the mortgage. She
Yikes.
wasn't paying the HOA.
She didn't pay
And
off the
HOA.
10 grand.
Well, where's that
Yeah.
10 grand? Because none of us know where it is. I mean,
We don't, well, yeah, because we don't know. Did it pay off something? I don't think it did. Maybe she
if
threw
it
it
did,
into Thrive. I
probably.
wonder. And then that would have gotten her shotgunned her up to the top.
So they
I
don't
don't
have
know.
Thrive in the UK. Yeah, those bars do look like you need a gallon of milk or something to chug those things down. They look dry. I don't like protein bars either. There's probably a reason why they don't
Honestly.
allow those in the UK.
Yeah.
They're not FDA approved.
It's sad.
Yeah, she did everything for photo opportunities. I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, right down to the pregnancy reveal, the "Oops, we did it again" video.
Yeah.
I was talking to you the other day about even the video. There's even a video out there with Bella telling everybody that they're pregnant again. Everything had to be
Yeah,
a
that.
video. It didn't matter how intimate it was, it had to be posted for the world to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't
Yeah, I
imagine. I
agree.
mean, I can't imagine how all this stuff is going to get people to buy overly expensive protein bars and shakes.
I mean, that's what all the friends she made in Colorado did. So it seems like I mean, in some ways she must have been a good saleswoman, I guess, on social media. But I've dealt with these people on social media too, and I have literally bought things just to make people stop talking to me. Like I bought one. I'm sorry, I'm going to say you can the book company, the kids book company.
Oh,
that starts
okay.
with a U.
Mhm.
So yeah, some like kind of estranged friend of mine asked me to go to a Facebook Live party for her friend, and I went, and I was drinking a bunch of wine, and I was like just alone in my house watching my computer and being like, okay, I'll be supportive. I'll buy one baby book. And because my daughter was like 1.5, she's like 1 then. I'll buy one, like, whatever book. And it turned into literally, I cannot get rid of this woman. She texts me every month. I have said, like, I don't want to be in the group anymore,
That's horrible.
please. I don't.
That's
No,
terrible.
it's funny, but I bought the one book, and it was a cute little book. But
Mhm.
oh my god, it was just unrelenting. And I could have bought a book that was just as nice at a store. I don't know.
Right.
It's a whole thing of like women feeling empowered and empowering each other. And it's a whole like, I want to make my friend feel good and like help support her business. So that's why it's so powerful, because women are
Right.
going to like try to empower each other, which makes sense as to why all her friends, like her friends through that, are the way they are.
Mhm.
They're like supportive, and they're going to continue to hold her up. They're not going to doubt the person they thought they knew, in my opinion.
But there was even people that actually had to block her because, I mean, it was just a
Yeah.
nuisance. And I get it. You want to support your friend, but then support your friend, but don't go bankrupt doing it. I mean, if it's like a few $100, like I think that the Watts family
Yeah.
were all purchasing this product and they weren't even using it. They were just doing it to be
Yep.
supportive because if you didn't support her, you got
Yep.
your ass handed to you. You
I actually
didn't.
have a screenshot. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm
Um,
listening.
no, a few days ago, I found a screenshot from Facebook of a Thrive party that she was doing on Facebook in 2018, I believe, and Cindy Watts was one of the hosts. She was
Wow, you
like
see
featured
that?
on the Facebook. She was featured on the Facebook, like, graphic of like, join us tonight for Thrive Live, and it was Cindy Watts with Shanann. So Cindy definitely tried very
Was
hard
trying to
to
support her, right?
be supportive. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I
Yeah.
was looking at the Discovery a little while ago, and I was looking at what Ronnie Watts was saying about how Nutgate came to be. And I think that there's just
Mm-hmm.
more there. I don't think it's that simple. Like, oh, one of the grandkids went and got a vanilla ice cream cup out, and she couldn't
I
have
agree.
it. So she threw herself on the floor. I From what it says in
Mm-hmm.
the Discovery is that that Cindy Watts said something to her about her parenting. And to me, that sounds like something that
Yes.
would piss her off. So if you tell her about her
Yeah.
parenting, you should teach her how
Wait,
to. Yeah,
I
I
didn't
look.
hear
I
that.
have to look
That's,
it up.
huh.
It's in,
It's interesting.
Yeah, when he's in that interrogation room and he starts talking about, they got into an argument. He said his wife and her got into an argument. The wife told her something about her parenting, and then they had a fight. And then after she leaves, she starts posting about nuts being everywhere and anywhere, and which was bull, because if your kid was allergic, why is she licking cheese off of a random restaurant, off the table? If your kid was so allergic,
yeah.
why are you bringing them to Bojangles and stuff? Because you don't know if somebody brought in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something, a pistachio
Yeah.
cookie, and it handled your food. So if she's
And a
so
lot of
allergic,
chicken is fried in peanut oil.
right?
Like,
And then you see
I'm-
those huge tubs of Jif peanut butter on the floor in the
yeah,
pantry. You see the kids in the pantry, locked in the
uncovered.
pantry all the time. So I don't believe
Yeah.
that it had anything to do with nuts. I think it had to do with her not getting her way. And so now she had to have a heart attack over it. Like, how dare you say I'm not a good mom? I'm posting these videos to show you I'm a good mom, and you're saying I'm not. So
Yeah.
now she has to have a fit. Yeah, and eating the Thrive bars.
Yeah.
The Thrive bars have tree nuts in them. The birthday cake one, and I think the cinnamon bun one. And to this day, it says that it contains tree nuts. So if she was allergic to
All
tree
of that.
nuts, why are you giving them to her?
Yeah, I think it's like the nut allergy part of Nutgate, I think, can be completely just sort of set aside. I think everything else about it is more interesting because it seems pretty obvious to me that she was using that as some sort of excuse, like to get mad at Cindy and to gaslight her. And I'm not sure of the like intricacies of the event. I'm sure every time the Watts have talked about it to different people, it's come off a different way because it's not every situation like that is loaded and has all kinds of details that people remember differently. So I don't think it's like anybody's lying or changing their story.
Right.
I don't know, in my opinion. I think
I agree. And I think that
both stories are valid, like both narratives
right.
that
Could
they've
it be that
told.
both those things happened? I mean,
Yeah,
could be that,
God forbid.
she talked about her parenting. It could be that the little child took out the vanilla ice cream that Cece wasn't supposed to have, and she threw herself down, and SW got frustrated. Why can't all these things have happened and built up to that situation where it was just became explosive?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Doesn't mean the other thing couldn't have happened, you know? It's not mutually exclusive, as they say.
So do you think how do I can't understand if CW didn't kill his children, which I don't believe he did, but how do you know where they were?
I know that's, for me, that's why I'm still here.
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
It's just so crazy because you see that he gives the children their baths, he's brushing their hair, he's feeding them, he packs their lunches, he goes and picks them up from school, he takes them to birthday parties, he's on the floor playing with the children, having tea parties. He's the present parent, the active parent. She's
Right.
Let's bake cookies. I don't want anything to do with you, but I'm going to bake cookies. You just stand here and say hi to everyone. I don't see him doing that.
I don't know. I don't
But
either.
how does he know where those kids are?
That's what drives me crazy. That's what really drives me crazy. Because I think it's so easy for people to say, "Oh, he snapped," or
I mean,
I don't know. I just don't.
I think that maybe he did snap and did something to her. I just don't see it with the kids.
Yeah, I
He's
do
always
too.
got one of the
But
kids on his hip. He's always with the
I
kids.
know.
And if he doesn't have the kids on his hip, he's got Dieter. He seems
I
to
know.
be like,
It bothers me what a broken person. I know it's not like I can't be mad at someone for being a broken person, maybe through trauma. Who knows? Like I don't know.
right,
Maybe
right.
he is like a cold-blooded family annihilator. Maybe he is just like so traumatized that he took on some sort of situation and is lying about it, or did one thing and I don't know. But the idea that he had that whole Wisconsin interview and the shit with like Cadel is so beyond fucked to me. Like I can't understand how even no matter. I'm sorry, what?
I think Cato's a setup.
But like, why would he say those? Why would he say those things at Wisconsin? Like, as a father, I have nothing left in my heart for that man. As far as I don't care what happens to him, he's trash in my mind because he said that. Whether he did or just said those things, either. I mean, I know one's worse than the other, but I mean, but if he didn't and said that he did, that's really bad.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't care how traumatized you are. Like you're their father, you know? Like,
and if you know something, then you should say something, so
yes,
that way
because other people are watching.
Right.
Yes. Other families, it's important for people to see the truth in this situation. It clearly has a huge audience. You could, Christopher Watts, do a good thing with your life and actually tell the truth. And that would be maybe what God is telling you to do because you're so religious now. I'm sorry, I'm like getting all mad.
Oh boy. Yeah, that really confuses me. I'm like, he's the one that holds the pieces of the puzzle. Like, come on and just tell us what they are. Give us the pieces of those puzzles so we can just put them together, because this is crazy. Yeah, he did get things wrong in that interview. That's another reason why I'm still here, is because it doesn't match. Like when he says that he strangled his wife and she didn't fight back. Now, as humans, if you can't breathe and someone is shooting you, you're going to automatically try to fight. There was nothing on him. No scratches, no nothing. He says her eyes were bloodshot, but I think law enforcement was leading him to say those things because he says, and you can clearly hear it. Remember when you said about the bloodshot eyes? Yeah, I watched her eyes fill with blood. Her eyes weren't bloodshot. They don't the blood doesn't like go away. Once you die, if you have petechiae, that's it. You have petechiae. It doesn't go away. So her eyes were opaque in color. There was no blood vessels busted.
Yeah, he was just saying stuff that people had talked about.
Yeah, well, he received a letter. A really long letter. One of the YouTube creators read the letter out loud. I gotta find it. But it's really, really creepy because the letter says in detail everything that he said in the Wisconsin interview. He says it's like he parrots what people say. But he received that letter maybe a couple of weeks before the Dodge interview.
What?
So that's why I think that Cadel was a plant. And I think that she spoke with him, got him to write letters, so it could benefit her. She didn't want
Yeah,
it.
man.
She didn't care about the truth. She wanted a book deal. And she got a
Yeah,
lot of
and
money
she
from
did
that.
that massive book tour and went all over on every channel creator and
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
And
then the Lost NK chapter.
Well, you know what? I don't blame that girl. When you did your live the other day, I started looking at her differently because I think I would
This
have.
is what my hobby is.
I'm serious. I think that I would have. First of all, if I get mad at a friend and I don't want them in my life anymore, I think the first thing I do is delete them off my contact list. I delete your picture,
Right.
text messages. So I would have done that with him too. Could you imagine? You're like, oh, lovey-dovey.
You don't know where your family is? Bye.
Right. Like,
What?
okay, goodbye. I'm not gonna be caught up with this crap. I've only been with you for 6 weeks. I don't like you that much. I would have
She was
deleted him
supposedly
too.
making like 6 figures on her own, had her nice apartment, like was potentially seeing other men too. Like
Right.
she was like, okay, let me like be serious about this, get my dad, whatever. And like I need to tell you everything about this psychopath apparently because he's a psychopath. Like she was, I don't know, that's just my viewpoint now. So I don't know.
So
I know people like
knows
to.
the letter she knows the letter I'm talking about. It's a letter that some lady wrote to him saying she had a vivid dream. And her dream was exactly
Another
the way
dream?
he said it was. Yeah, it was a dream
Oh,
letter.
lady with a dream? Oh.
Mhm. And
Huh.
then he's like, oh, this is exactly how it happened. Just what that letter said about that dream.
These ladies with these dreams, I don't know what to say.
I think the fact that
Was
he's
it a spear
allowing
through the
people-
head?
A what? I didn't hear you.
Was it
a
a
what?
spear right? Was it a spear right through the forehead? I'm sorry. That's the only dream I ever had.
Yeah. There's a lot of paranormal shit going on around this case.
I get spears in my head every night when I go to sleep. Don't worry. Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, like if you're in K, you got it going on, you have a degree, you're in the same industry, but you have a higher position than him. I mean, he was a field operator. Not that field operators, it's a messed up job, but I mean, she went to school and got a degree for what she was in, and she had her own stuff. She wasn't living at home. She didn't have any children. He's the one that had all the baggage. I would have left too.
Mm-hmm.
I would have left too. I would have changed my name. I would have said goodbye. But the thing is
100%.
that I wish she would have said something else, though. I mean, give us a little.
I know. Well, I look for her. I feel like she's probably bouncing around these YouTube streets somewhere. I feel like I'm always like looking for NK because
I mean, if someone's talking about you,
I think she does. Yeah, I think she 100% does watch all of this. There's no way she doesn't.
And for both sides of the family to even be watching this, it's got to be so hurtful. And that's what pisses me off about Chris, because he should just tell everyone what happened.
Everything for everyone. Yes.
Right. Because meanwhile, both families are feuding with one another, and it's terrible. And then what happens is these little babies and the mom, because SW, I mean, nobody deserves to be murdered. And I feel like I have to say that because I know that somebody's going to come in here and come for me and tell me nobody deserves to be murdered.
No, you're right.
Obvious.
You're right. And you know what? That's what Lana always says is like, they deserve, like, she deserves to be completely what's the word, exonerated.
Right.
She hasn't been legally. Like, Chris could make that better, or the evidence could make that better. We could finally know for sure, that she didn't do anything or that he didn't do anything or whatever.
Right.
But that's something that could be really valuable, and that I think law enforcement failed both families on big time, is they did not prove that she was exonerated from anything. And,
Right.
they just took a plea deal, but like, it took them 2 months to put together the whole, I don't know. It just seemed like.
And what about
I don't
this
know.
death penalty thing? I mean,
That was bullshit the whole time.
Yeah, nobody's been murdered. Nobody's been put to death in Colorado for ages. He wouldn't have been
No.
murdered. I
No.
mean, everybody who was on
Not in
death row,
Colorado.
they're muted. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you
Where
say
they live in Texas.
Right. But I mean, there's oh my God, there was just a case where I think her name was I want to say her name was Melissa Lucio. It's a woman who was supposed to be executed sometime in May for the death of her little daughter. She fell down the stairs, and they say that she
shit.
was responsible for the little daughter's death. And she
Melissa.
was actually supposed to be executed, but she filed for a stay. And so she wasn't executed, and they're still trying to do an investigation. But I mean, no, but the death penalty wasn't on the table for him. It's so confusing because DA Rourke says the reason why they didn't go for the death penalty is because the R's didn't want it.
Yeah,
and then when he gives his press conference, he's like, well, we made a deal. You agreed to all these charges, and then we won't go for the death penalty. So which one is it? The R's didn't want it, or you didn't want it if he agreed to everything?
It was all made. It was never on the table. It was just everybody trying to make everybody look good, and like BS. This is interesting. I'm finding Melissa Lucio.
I think
that.
Let me look it up.
I see it. It's on the Innocence Project. It's
Melissa it is. Lucio. Okay.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
There's an actual documentary on, I believe it's Hulu. I think it's called State Texas versus Lucio.
Oh, I'm gonna watch.
And I'm kind of on both sides of the fence with it, because part of me believes that, yeah, maybe she did have something to do with it. At the very least, she was negligent.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into this. These are always really interesting to me, especially like death cases. Any death row case is really interesting, but especially women. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. And then statistics say that it's usually the mom that will kill the children.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is.
And she exhibited a lot of that behavior. The kids were constantly sick. She's taking them to go to unnecessary doctor's appointments, surgeries. I mean, scheduling surgeries on the same day. Whose children has the same surgery on the same day? I mean, what are the odds that your child, two of your children are going to need the same surgery on the same day? It's like everything was planned. And so I actually think that part of me believes that she could have had something to do with the demise of those children. But then we got to look back. What caused her to be this way? Why is she so attention seeking?
Well, I think there's only one reason for that. But, you know.
And you look at the mom's videos and she's saying the same
Uh-huh.
thing that you know, she was always sick as a baby, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like it's just keeps it's like a generational curse. Like you're just handing it down and
Mm-hmm.
it just won't stop. And it
Well,
it took
trauma is generational.
mhm.
I mean, it's literally like passed on genetically through generations, trauma. So, that would follow.
Do you think that she wasn't allowed to be alone with her children?
That's something I've gone back and forth about. I could believe it one way, I could believe it the other way. I really could. And I haven't seen any proof either way, so I still don't know. I really don't. I think it could be either way. What do you think about
I'm
that?
thinking like mother, like daughter. I'm thinking that well,
Yep.
we see that she's there. If we see her there with the kids, I never see anybody in the background. I mean, but we don't see the entire house. So for all we know, there could be somebody sitting in the living room for all we know. But if she was
Hmm.
restricted, it would explain a lot why the father always had to fly in to escort her to wherever she needed to go.
I mean, honestly, yeah, the accounts I've read, like on that blog, that have pretty accurate like timestamps of the activity on Facebook from what I can see, but I came in late, so I'm seeing what I see now,
Right.
and I it lines up pretty much perfectly that she couldn't be alone, which really freaked me out. Like I never considered that, but I think it could be possible. I don't know.
I mean,
I really don't know.
I mean, she only had two kids. Why would you need an escort? And I mean, and the father
Yeah.
said in their interview, well, not even the father. It was um, Fr. Jr. said, if I would have had somebody to, pay my airfare, I would have been down here a long time ago. Because he didn't come right. They
Right.
didn't come right away. But how come you're always
Right.
flying back and forth to escort her wherever she needs to go, but you didn't have enough airfare to come down
That's
during
true.
the death of your sister and your daughter? That's a
So
little
you mean
strange.
like maybe that was like state funded, like the
Huh?
airfare?
You know what? I never thought
I
about
don't
that.
know. No, I haven't either. I'm just thinking about that. Like, because it doesn't make sense. If you can't afford to fly, you can't afford to fly. Like, I can't afford to fly most places, but maybe,
And
I don't know.
that had to cost a pretty penny just flying out to go and pick somebody up just to escort them back
Well, that's the
to
thing.
their original destination.
And some of these people I've heard go live about this, this narrative.
Mhm.
I just don't, it seems unrealistic to me because I can't imagine someone being able to take advantage of the of welfare that much. Like I have known people who have used the system, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But for someone that's a lot of money. So
Right. Like,
that's kind of what kept me doubtful for a while. I was like, there's no way they're going to enforce this shit. What? Like, there's no way you can enforce this level of, you know,
of surveillance, of escort.
surveillance.
Right.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, because
Yes.
I grew up in the system. I was afraid.
Unless they're like members of the CIA, unless they're like really important international figures. I don't
Right.
understand why this amount of money would be spent on it. I'm
On this
sorry.
one family. I mean,
Right.
that's why I said before, like, I grew up in the foster care system, and if there was supposed to be like supervised visitation, there's like a
Mhm.
specific place for that to happen. It could be at a police station, it could be at the child
Absolutely.
welfare office. I mean, but who's paying state to state?
I
You're
know.
paying for
Yeah.
airfare for, I mean, why wouldn't you just get somebody, a social
I don't
worker?
I live, I've lived in parts of this country that are very poor where everybody on my block was on like subsidized, care in some way.
Mhm.
And I've never heard of there being a level of, as you said, surveillance and just protection. And it's,
And if there was so
it's
much
like
surveillance,
the system doesn't work that well in this country,
right,
guys.
it's
Like,
broken. I mean, come on,
yeah,
if that would be the case, then I would think that they would have picked up on the
yeah.
abuse that was going on a long time ago. You can see her pinching the baby. Um,
Well,
you
I
see
mean, maybe it
pictures with
was. Even if
covers
it
over
was,
her head.
even if that's what they picked up on, maybe they picked up on that years ago, and they like created this plan of like surveilling her. But no, you're surveilling her abusing them. Like, you don't keep children in the home if,
Exactly. As soon as you see the abuse,
yeah,
pull them out.
yeah,
I mean, so what kind of a
yeah.
did you have
They're
that
not
was,
in a fish tank. Like, what? What?
I
I
don't
don't know.
understand it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's
they weren't
interesting. I
driving
haven't.
down there. They weren't driving to go and pick her up. They were flying, and who's paying for these tickets?
I don't know. Um, I don't know, and I'm very, very. I don't know. That's why I keep coming back. I'm so confused.
So if she really was restricted, let's say for the sake of argument, she did have some restrictions on
The government
how long she could be
level.
around the children. Maybe let's say
Yeah.
maybe she had a certain amount of time with the children.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
she got a divorce, then what would that
Yeah.
do to her? I mean, obviously she wouldn't have that house because she wouldn't be able to afford that house. So she loses her stage. If the children were taken
She'd
away
have
from
to.
her, she lost her props. If her husband divorced her, she lost the biggest prop because now he can't be the supportive, doting husband.
No,
So,
she'd have to move back to her parents.
and she said she wasn't going to move to North Carolina.
Nope.
She didn't
Never.
want to be there. From what it looks like to me, is that she didn't get along with her mother. And everybody knew that, right
Hmm.
down to NA's son said they didn't get along.
Yeah, she loved Colorado. She hated the South. She hated the weather. She hated the way it made her body feel. She hated it
So if
in the
she
South.
lost everything, would it
Hmm.
make her desperate enough to actually
Hey,
unalive these children so that way
do you remember?
I don't know.
Do you remember that one of her posts from 2018 was about Anthony Bourdain?
No. Tell
Yeah,
me.
she posted. She, I have a screenshot of it somewhere. I'll find it. I'll send it to you later. But she posted like during that year, not there. It was during that summer, I think, of 2018. She posted a link. It was very rare. It was like a one rare thing she posted that was like not about her and not about Thrive. It was a link about depression, focusing on Anthony Bourdain unaliving himself.
Mm.
And someone commented on the post something like, something about like antidepressant or big pharma being to blame or something, and there was nothing else. Like, she didn't elaborate on it in any way. She didn't comment on it, I think. She just posted it, and I saw it. It's still there.
Oh, it's still
But
there?
yeah, I just found this a few months ago. I assume it's still there. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting that she posted something for a change that was about like human nature, and it was about Anthony Bourdain
I think
unaliving himself.
it could be that she probably suffered from depression, and maybe that was
Yeah,
a subtle way of telling everybody that she was suffering from depression by sharing that link. I mean, could be.
yeah. I think she was like frustrated maybe by being around all these people and her family, and her family, and then like she introduced herself to all these people who didn't want to talk about like real problems
Mm-hmm.
or personal lives. They just talked about their making money and being a boss. And that's why it really stood out to me that she posted that, because it felt like she was being real. It was weird.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think that those real moments were very, very few. Um,
There.
I don't think that she was. I think it was taboo for her to be real because you had to portray this life of
Hmm.
happiness and wealth, and nobody lives like that, just happy all the damn time. That's not realistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shireen talks about this house. Why is she looking up these houses? Did you see the house that she posted when she was in North Carolina?
Uh-huh. Yep.
I mean, you're behind on your mortgage. How are you going to get another house? Oh, it's a nice
So
house too in North Carolina. If
here's
you
my
can afford this one.
here's my thought. When I saw that link that she posted, from what I could tell, I think it was a house that CM was selling, and I think she was trying to like publicize, give him some publicity. I think she was like saying, "Oh, my friend is selling this house, buy it." I don't know. I don't.
But then why not post multiple listings? She only posted this one house and she posted that same house maybe like three
Yeah,
times. I mean, he
she
was a
did.
realtor, right? So why not share all his posts of houses?
Yeah, and I think she shared it like kind of privately, or there were a few of those posts that were shared to private audiences or something. I don't know. I've heard so many stories.
She posted about murder. Shireen says she
Oh,
posted about
Shireen.
murder. When? Scandalous. Explain.
What? Lady, I gotta go in like 5 minutes because I'm like, I have so much to do
Don't
before
worry. Don't
tomorrow.
worry. You got to go do what you have to do.
I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun,
Well, I
as
think my
Ramona
first
Singer would say.
I think this live was pretty successful. At least it wasn't
Yeah.
talking to myself.
No, it's really fun. I feel like we talked about some important
So
shit.
many things, right?
Yeah. Keep talking without me though.
Yeah.
Wait,
Now I have
what
more
is
questions.
what is this? What is this murder in March 2018 post? I really want to hear about this. Ooh. Shireen, I know you. You always got the good. You've been around.
Oh, she has a date. Oh.
Mm-hmm. This is why you gotta get on the Quiet Watts channels. We all talk about some real shit.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know. I do know that she had a lot of talk. of death. Like she told the dog, "Oh my God, if
Yeah.
the dog wakes up the girls, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to strangle him. Oh, Chris is going to kill me if I don't share these pro bars with him." He said, can you give me the initials? I really don't want to call out the dog's name because I just want to avoid the drama. So
yeah, we don't know how YouTube works.
Or email me at objectionoverruled2@gmail.com.
The gods of YouTube sometimes cancel us and we don't know why.
Yes. YouTube's getting really crazy. So like if you mention a channel's name and like the other channel creator has a fit,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just starting. I don't want to like get my channel pulled. Oh boy. Well, why don't you go ahead and do what you need to do? I really am so excited that you joined me.
Me too.
I'm
sorry I talked too much.
No, you don't. Listen, I was shaking. I felt like I was standing naked in front of an auditorium while everyone was looking at me. And you came up and you made it so much easier.
Oh, I'm glad. Well, this was really awesome because you know a shit ton more about this case than I do.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, you do?
Well, I know the channel.
Oh yeah.
That she's talking about.
Yeah.
I will put it in.
No, I know who that is.
I've never heard that of talking about murder.
Yeah,
now I gotta go to that creator's channel and see.
Well,
wow.
Good luck.
Well, you know what? How long have I been on here? Almost 2 hours.
You did great.
Wow. And
2 hours?
And there's 6 people in here, but there's only one person chatting, but that's okay because you know what? I've been always in the background for all this time. I never wanted to speak. It was because of you and Tabitha Jane that encouraged me to create my own channel. So I would have still been lurking in the background, just observing.
Oh, I'm so glad that you are not lurking in the background. You have so much information and interesting thoughts about this case. I'm so glad.
Yeah,
that we connected.
You. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it.
And I think I think I can speak for you when I say like we're not trying to like cancel anybody or make anybody feel bad if they have an opinion.
Right.
Or if they like a certain creator. So
right, go and do your own research. Go to whatever channel you want to.
Sometimes we'll be like, hey, no, that person was wrong. But that's all we're gonna do. We're not gonna dislike you.
And when I say all opinions are welcome, I really mean all opinions are welcome, because I mean sometimes if somebody says something, you might think about it differently. Like I couldn't stand NK until I saw that interrogation video a million times. But then as we were sitting there and we're watching it together and we're chatting with one another, then I was able to look at it differently.
Oh my
that's
God,
what we all need to do.
So happy.
Right.
Because I was the same way. I was like very staunchly anti-NK. So then maybe I will be again.
I don't know. As things go by, as things keep unfolding, you keep having these discussions with other people, as long as they stay, if they're mature conversations and somebody doesn't try to attack you, I mean, I'm open for anything.
Me too.
This is just so weird. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to end this because I've been on for 2 hours. Thank you so much for joining me, Hot Ham Radio. Oh, you know what? Go and join Hot Ham Radio's channel if you haven't already. Go and subscribe to her channel. Really,
Oh,
really good
thank you, love.
channel. I mean, sometimes she just plays music and everybody still stays there, just bouncing, chair dancing.
I just like to create a space for us lost Watts Islanders to
On the
just
Wolf
wander.
Island. Yeah. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna end this here, and
Thank you
maybe
so
we'll come
much.
on
This
again
was so much
tomorrow.
fun.
I think so too. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Ham. All right, guys. Thank you.
Nighty night.
Nighty night. Toodles.